Hello, this is a short presentation in support of applicants wanting to come to Teesside University and the School of Computing Engineering and Digital Technologies. The presentation is designed to provide you with some hints and tips as to how to create a portfolio in support of our BA creative courses here at the university. My name is Justin Greetham. I'm a senior lecturer here in visualization and graphical applications. Prior to joining Teesside University, I was a professor at the Savannah College of Art Design in Georgia in the United States. Prior to that, a producer animator at the award-winning visual effects and animation studio called Lost in Space, where as the UK resellers for RenderMan, the technology that you see in many of the Pixar movies that are in cinemas and have been for the last 20 years. So I've been very lucky to have worked with some notable clients such as the Rolling Stones, Disney, Saatchi & Saatchi, the National Lottery, to name but a few. What I hope to do today is to provide support on how to create a portfolio for those of you considering coming to Teesside University and School of Computing Engineering and Digital Technologies to study games art, computer animation, character animation, visual effects, 2D animation, stop motion, comics and graphic novels, and concept art. So the duration of this PowerPoint presentation shouldn't exceed 15 minutes, and what I hope to cover are some of the basics that we look for in a student applicant's portfolio that include the drawing skills, photography, digital, storytelling, general do's and don'ts, and some useful resources that may be of interest to you that will give you some more information about the School of Computing Engineering and Digital Technologies. But just to kick things off, in a recent guest lecture that was hosted by a representative from one of our partners, a very established company and makers of the Star Wars portfolio, Industrial Light and Magic, the guest lecturer talked about the importance of soft skills in the graduate student that they take on. And what she meant by that is that companies like Industrial Light and Magic look for team players, not necessarily for individuals, but for team players. And we often find in student portfolios evidence of teamwork, and it's very difficult to establish as an admissions tutor where the individual contribution lies. So if you are to include group work in your portfolio, it is really important for you to provide the appropriate signage so we know what is yours and what is not. Your ability to meet deadlines would also be very useful to see. What we'd like to see is your ability to manage yourself and also a team, and if possible, evidence of your communication skills, and perhaps where you might be using social media with which to share your work and some of your ideas. Other things that we like to see in the average portfolio when going into the undergraduate program are a selection of drawings, and those drawings could be under the heading of observational drawings. Because you're an animator or a games artist or a concept artist, you see the world differently, and what we'd like for you to do is to show evidence of your understanding of your world through a range of drawings that might be figurative or gesture drawings, in which of course you are mapping out or recording the environment in which you occupy. As part of the observational component of your portfolio, we'd also encourage you to draw as many people as possible, to study their faces, their hands, their feet, the clothes that they wear would be very useful. We would also encourage you to undertake some live drawing classes, and for those of you that cannot attend those live drawing classes, for you to refer to the appropriate photography, whether it be photography you download from the internet or from your own photographic portfolio. Other observational drawing exercises might include a study of environments, and what we mean by that is the world that you occupy. So for example, you may want to spend some time drawing your bedroom, the desk that you sit at, the furniture in your bedroom, your kitchen, your bathroom, your garden, the street that you live on. What we're looking for is for you to not only look at interior but also exterior environments, and environments that may play an important part in you creating either a 2D digital or 3D environment. So really, the purpose of the drawing component in your portfolio is for you to show evidence of an exploration of shape, color, form, contour, contrast, ambience, and maybe perspective. Where possible, we'd like for you to draw from life and not to draw directly from the internet, simply because we feel that you get a lot more from being in situ. This is a great opportunity for you to include an understanding of exposure, composition, lighting, exposure, as the medium of photography today is as valid as it was almost 120 years ago when it was first developed. We will be looking at your appreciation of the history of art, photography, contemporary culture, and media studies, so do include any images that you've acquired either on your camera phone or your DSLR. So one of the reasons why you're considering coming to the School of Computing Engineering and Digital Technologies is because of your interest in the digital, and this is a part of the portfolio where we'd like to see some experimentation on the computer, and your efforts in working with a range of computer programs from Adobe Photoshop all the way through to the likes of Maya or Houdini or Blender, which are dedicated 3D modeling applications. This part of the portfolio is where we'd like to see evidence of you experimenting or making that transition from the analog through to the digital. So what we mean by the digital is that you show an appreciation of where the computer can support your interest in a range of artistic skills. That could be 2D digital art, illustrations, concept art, character designs, prop designs, cartoons, all the way through to computer graphics and animation skills. And on the image that you see in the slide is the work of a Teesside University student who has an appreciation for the open source software entitled Blender. And this is part of the research they've undertaken in support of their aspirations to move into the computer animation industry. Something else that's very important, and one that I would advocate, is to show evidence of your understanding of the story. Everything has a story, whether it's a game or an animation or a piece of concept art, and that story needs to be reflected somehow in your art. So what we mean by that is if you're going to draw, for example, a plant, then we'd like you to also draw the ecosystem which that plant occupies and the adjoining plants and animal, flora and fauna that go alongside that. Other instances where you might want to show evidence of your understanding of storytelling could be through your use of storyboards, which is an established way of developing a very simple story and the precursor to a much larger narrative experience. We often see students with a passion for comics, or otherwise known as graphic novels, and you may want to include in your portfolio an appreciation of the graphic novel. And then of course concept art could take on the form of a number of different avenues, whether it's concept art that you created with a pencil or concept art that you created with Adobe Photoshop. So we can't emphasize enough the importance of story in your portfolio, and other storytelling techniques might include an animation flipbook, a short 3D animation, a computer game, or a stop motion sequence. And the animation that you can see in your screen at the moment is from an applicant from India, and it shows his passion for dance, and that's very much part of his culture, his heritage, and his ability with which to tell stories. So some general do's when preparing your portfolio is to include the appropriate signage so we know exactly who you are and the course that you're interested in. For those of you who are direct entry students, what we'd like to see in your portfolio is your applicant number. That's very important to us. For you to present your work chronologically, and what we mean by that is for you to put your oldest work first and your latest work last. For you to make your portfolio easily accessible or downloadable, so we would ask you to use some of the more popular file formats such as JPEGs, or for your portfolio to come in as a Adobe Acrobat or PDF file. Please make sure that your work is original, is not plagiarized, and for you to only include your best work. Some of the general don'ts in portfolio preparation are to avoid padding, and what we mean by that is for you to only include your best work. To avoid including material that references to the internet, we want to make sure that all of the work included is your work and not borrowed. And for you not to use social media, for example, social media sites such as Instagram or Facebook to host your portfolio. We would like, and certainly we would encourage you to create your own web page or make the best use of the cloud when presenting your work. So as you prepare your portfolio, just some useful resources. If you have any questions, we have a telephone number here for you to call. We have an email address for you to contact us on. We have a website taking you to the School of Computing, Engineering and Digital Technologies, and there are also some social media links there for those of you interested in a little bit more information about the department. We have a showreel on Vimeo, we have a Twitter account, a Facebook account, Instagram account, and a Pinterest account with lots of different Pinterest boards where you can see some of the student work. I hope that's been useful, and there are some pointers there, some advice that you can incorporate into your portfolio as you prepare it for submission. As with every Teesside University student, they are given the opportunity to take part in an event called Expo Tees London as they graduate. And on the URL you can see on your screen, /Expo Tees /London, you will see a graduate showreel from the event in 2019, an event that was hosted at the Oscar award-winning Studio Frame store, notable for making feature films or contributing to feature films such as the Avengers Endgame, the James Bond portfolio, Paddington Bear, to name but a few. And a little indication as to the quality of the portfolio that we produce here in the School of Computing, Engineering and Digital Technologies. Once again, my name is Justin Greetham. I am admissions tutor for the Creative Portfolio here at Teesside University, and good luck in your portfolio preparation.